Hello, I'm Maria Hall Brown, and this is LA Currents. Council District 12 for the City of Los Angeles encompasses the northwest side of the San Fernando Valley. Our guest today was not only re-elected to serve as council member for the district, but he has been a resident since 1978, which is over 40 years. I'm delighted to be joined today by Councilmember John Lee. So nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, as I mentioned, and we've talked about a bit, that's a long time. You're staying in your home district. What is it about Council District 12 that makes you want to not only live there, but serve?
Sure, you know, it's the community that I was raised in. It's a community that I love so much. I think the reason why people moved to Council District 12, why they lived there, are the same reasons why my parents moved there in 1978, because they wanted to have areas where they had good neighborhoods, where they had good schools, but most importantly, they wanted to move to an area where people take the time to actually get to know their neighbor. You know, I always like to say that Council District 12 is the last slice of Mayberry here in the city of Los Angeles, because it is somewhere where you get to know your neighbors.
One of the huge, and you can't escape it because it just doesn't seem to, somewhat move, is the issue of the unhoused and homelessness. So I know that you put in some pretty robust programs in your district, and how are they in regards to getting people off the streets, but more importantly, what is your thought process in what needs to be done to actually make a more direct result to this crisis that we're facing?
You know, when I took office, we had 0 beds in Council District 12. I'm proud that in my first term in office, we were able to create hundreds of beds with a couple hundred more on the way. While I always believe that housing is a part of that solution, I think that we need to take a more holistic approach. You know, in Council District 12, when we build shelters, we have to make sure that we have a drug component to it, a drug addiction component, a mental health component into it. But I also think that we need to be doing more. We need to be doing more at the state level and the federal level, because I've always seen mental health as health. And we have a mental illness crisis on our streets. If somebody's having a heart attack on the sidewalk, we pull over and we help that person. When we see someone having a mental illness crisis on our streets, the only tool in our tool belt to deal with this is repetition, is hoping that they accept services on the 7th time that they didn't accept 6 times before. We need to be able to do more in this area and to really treat the mental illness crisis as a health concern, which is something that I've always believed in, and it's something I'm going to continue fighting for.
And with the 200 beds that you added, did you have any kind of comprehensive understanding of who was taking advantage of those shelters? And are there certain constituents in your district that you see are saying, oh, thank goodness this is here now, I have somewhere to lay my head? Or how is it played out in your district?
I think it's both. I think that once we created housing, we had, of course, there are people that want to get into shelter. I've always believed that when someone finds themselves unhoused, we need to get to them right away, because that's when we can get them before they spend too much time on the streets. We've gotten people into beds, but we've also had people who are service resistant, and we need to be able to look at different ways, because what is happening out on our city streets, us just allowing people to live and die on our sidewalks, is not humane. I don't understand when people say that we have no right to be able to try to help them. I think it's our responsibility to get help for the people who are living on our streets.
I know during the pandemic you had a huge priority placed on small businesses to make sure that they survive, and I know that there was a lot of support from your office to help those businesses. So now you have a little bit of a Tuesday morning quarterback view on it. How did the businesses in CD12 fare after the pandemic? Yeah, comparatively, actually.
Sure. I think you had a lot of small businesses trying to really think, do we keep our doors open? We're going to shut down for a while. Do we have enough resources to keep us going so that we can reopen and restart our business? We wanted to alleviate that fear from them. And so what we did was, not taxpayer money, we went and raised private funds to the tune of close to $750,000 to provide no interest loans to the businesses in our district. It was a huge success, and I think that whether they were new businesses, legacy businesses, everyone needs help in certain times. And so those businesses that came to us, I was happy that we were able to create a program to support them.
What are some of the committees that you're working with and working on with the council right now?
Yeah, so I'm on some pretty big ones. I chair the Public Works Committee, which has been very important to me. Being someone who's worked in the city for many, many years, I understand the importance of making sure that we're tending to our infrastructure. Infrastructure is not always the shiniest penny, right? It's not more police officers, it's something, but it's something necessary we need to do. We have an aging infrastructure system that we need to be tending to, and I think by having that knowledge and experience as the chair of Public Works, it's going to allow me that sort of avenue to address those concerns that I've had for many, many years. I also sit on the Public Safety Committee, which you said earlier, which everyone knows is very, very important to me. I also Planning Land Use Management Committee. And so those are obviously some big ones that we get to look at really sort of all the important aspects of how the city is run. And I'm really proud that Councilmember Krikorian tapped me to be on those committees.
That's a lot of committees, and there's another one, right?
Yes, the Neighborhoods Committee. Neighborhoods Committee is important because this is the committee that overlooks not only animal services, which is a very important subject to me, but overlooks our neighborhood council system. That is a system where local community members can get involved to be a part of shaping what their individual little communities look like. And so I'm proud to be on all those committees. They're as I named them, I mean, those are some pretty big communities, and I just appreciate Councilmember Krikorian putting me on them.
You have a bike transit area that you are creating, or have created, you know. So what are your hopes and dreams for just that, moving towards a more ecological way of life for your district?
Well, one of the things that I have been a big proponent of, we've said over and over in the city of Los Angeles that we need to move people towards, whether bicycles or public transportation. Okay, that has been actually a focus of mine. But as you've heard in the recent stories about what's been happening on some of our public transportation and the tragedies that have happened, is that if we're going to ask people to get out of their cars and rely more on public transportation, then we need to do three things. We need to make it clean, reliable, and more importantly than anything, we have to make sure that it is safe. And right now we are failing. Metro's not succeeding in doing that. While we have the numbers of ridership have been going up over the last, I believe it is 17 months, we need to be doing better. We have the World Cup coming here. We have Olympics in 28 here. We aren't going to be on the world stage. We are going to have additional millions of people here in our city. We need to figure a way to get them around from place to place, utilizing public transportation, making sure that it's reliable, but making sure that when our visitors are here, that they don't leave saying that they felt unsafe here in our city of Los Angeles, because the Olympics is supposed to highlight the city of Los Angeles. We need to show our best, and I'm hopeful that we are moving in that direction.
So if people want more information about what's happening in your district, what's the best way for them to find out?
So they just go to cd12.lacity.gov and sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is where you'll find out all the information of not what we're doing here just at City Hall, but activities that are happening within the district and opportunities to volunteer. And so all the information you need is right there. Please sign up for the newsletter, find out what's going on in your community, and be a part of it.
That's fantastic. Well, it was wonderful having you back in, and we look forward to seeing you again. And I know exactly what you mean by Mayberry. There may be people that may not remember the allusion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here.
And that's a wrap on this LA Current.